All right, today we're diving into something really powerful. Think about this. What if integrity isn't just about being a good person? What if it's actually a cold, hard strategy for building unshakable authority and, you guessed it, respect?
It's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? Why do some people just command respect? They walk into a room and you can feel it, this natural authority. Well, the source material we're looking at says it has almost nothing to do with personality or talent. Nope, it all boils down to one single powerful principle that most of us completely overlook.
Okay, so before we get into how to build that respect, we first have to understand how it gets torn down. And, it almost always starts small, with those little, seemingly harmless compromises we make with ourselves every single day. And look, the source material is incredibly blunt about this. It says that every time you betray your own values, you're essentially killing your own respect. It's like you're broadcasting this signal of weakness that people pick up on, even if they don't know why. It's not about them judging you. It's about you losing your own personal power. And that loss is something everyone around you can feel. So really, every time you're under pressure, you're at a fork in the road. You've got two choices. Path one, you choose comfort. You bend your values just a little to avoid a tough situation or to get someone to like you. The signal that sends? Weakness, unreliability. Path two, you choose principle. You hold the line, even when it's a total pain. That radiates strength and consistency. And the outcome? Real earned respect and authority. So if all those little compromises are like a storm constantly trying to knock you off course, what's the solution? Well, you need an anchor, an unshakable anchor, a foundation so solid that no amount of pressure, no storm, can ever move you from your spot.
Now, we usually think of integrity as, just being honest with other people. But this idea flips that on its head. It redefines integrity as something way more fundamental: self-trust. It's about keeping the promises you make to yourself. When your actions consistently match your principles, you're building this internal foundation that is absolutely unbreakable. And that is where all real authority comes from.
And this quote really just nails it. No integrity, no respect. This is not morality. It is strategy. Let's be super clear. This isn't some Sunday school lesson about being a good person. This is about the raw mechanics of power. The source is saying point blank that integrity isn't just a nice-to-have virtue. It's the actual strategy for getting the respect you're after. Okay, so how does this all actually work? How does this internal self-trust thing turn into actual external respect from other people? Let's get into the mechanics of it.
It's basically a three-step equation, and it's super powerful. Step one, you hold your principles consistently. You do what you say you're going to do. Step two, by doing that over and over, you build this deep, unshakable trust in yourself. You know you can count on, you. And step three, that part almost takes care of itself. That internal confidence just radiates out from you. People can't help but feel it. And that's where the respect comes from. But what happens when you break that equation? What happens when there's a gap between what you say you believe and what you actually do? Well, the whole thing starts to fall apart. This is what our source calls the ripple effect, and it's a huge deal. Think about it. Respect is almost never lost in one big dramatic explosion. No, it's eroded. Death by 1,000 cuts. It starts with one tiny compromise, a small white lie, a promise to yourself that you just let slide. Each one is like a little crack in your foundation. And while people might not know the details, they can sense the inconsistency. And over time, all those tiny ripples add up. And before you know it, your authority has just crumbled. All right, so we've talked about the problem, the cost of compromise. And we've talked about the solution, the integrity anchor. Now we get to the most important part, the how-to. These are the practical, actionable steps you can take right now to build and defend your integrity. Think of this as your personal battle plan.
And the key here is that this is not some abstract philosophical idea. These are specific drills, like a workout for your character. For example, the line in the sand drill makes you decide right now what your absolute non-negotiables are. The accountability pact brings in someone else to help keep you honest. And the respect mirror, that's a tough weekly question. Would I respect someone who acts like me? These aren't just suggestions. They're concrete, repeatable actions to build your integrity, just like you'd build a muscle in the gym.
And really, the final order from our source material couldn't be any clearer. It's simple. It's direct. Your orders. Hold the line. That's it. The entire battle for respect is won or lost right there.
in your ability to stick to your principles, especially when it's the hardest thing in the world to do.
So that's what this all comes down to, really. Every single decision you make, starting right now, is a test. It's a test of your foundation. Are you going to anchor it to what's easy, to what's comfortable, or are you going to anchor it to your principles? The choice, as always, is yours. But now you have the strategy. So the only question left is, what are you going to anchor your next decision to?